All right, shalom, shalom. It's your brother Tazadar coming back with another lesson. Lord willing, this is edifying to the hopefully elect. Before I do that, I'm going to give all the praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and safety and much blessings to the Yakim that's pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth and all truth and sincerity and their diligence. Shalom. All right, man. What I want to touch on is Reuben, the tribe of Reuben. Okay, which is said in the Hebrew is Ra'aban, okay, which means it's a son, see, it's a son, right, which was the firstborn of Jacob, right here, see, Genesis 35 and 23, it says, the sons of Leah, right, one of Jacob's wives, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, you see? So Reuben was Jacob's firstborn, okay? But, Reuben did some foul shit, like, is it? Verse 22, it says, and it came to pass when Israel dwelt in the land that Reuben went and laid with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12. So Reuben went did some foul shit and laid down with it. He defiled his father's bed. Okay. So, that's kind of what happened with Reuben. But, what I'm going to touch on here is, let's see, Genesis 49. And look, see, I got this book here, and I'm gonna get into that too. This book called Lost Tribe, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands. All right. So, and these guys, that saying they don't believe in the 12 tribes chart, because you telling me that you believe some man had a dream and this is what people supposed to be. Well, don't you simple Christian ass niggas believe that Dr. King had a dream and you still stood for that? Huh? Oh, I don't believe in the 12 tribes chart because some man had a dream. When you sitting up there celebrating Black History Month every month. The niggas is off, man. Nevertheless, I'm gonna read Genesis 49 and 1. It says, and Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Okay. So gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken unto Israel your father. Reuben, Ra'aban, Ra'araban, I'm saying it right, Salaki. Thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, the excellency of power, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up into thy father's bed, then defilest thou it. He went up to my couch. You see? So what we doing is just touching on Reuben right here, okay? And when you check out Reuben, see, Reuben wore the mitri, right? He wore the mitri that was ordained by Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai in Exodus, the 28th chapter. Because I got some pictures right here, and I looked up the so-called Seminole Indians, which was known today as, Reuben is known today as the Seminole Indians, okay? And look, check it out. Reuben wore the mitri. See? Bang. Bang, right there. I believe, and there was one down here that had, they had the fringes on. You see, I'll get to it though. But yeah, let's go back. It says, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, the beginning of my strength. It says, okay, now why does it says the beginning of my strength? Well, first and foremost, you got to understand that, let's just go get the Apocrypha. You see, because the Northern Kingdom, which, the Northern Kingdom came to the Americas, okay, from the time of the Assyrian Empire. So we go to Second Esdras 13. All right, this is Second Esdras 13 and 40. It says, those are the 10 tribes, right, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hoshea the king, whom Salmanasseh the fifth the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. So they came into and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land, right? Because they went into the northern kingdom went into captivity under the Assyrians, right? It says, but they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathens and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For 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 through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. So it took them a year and a half. So it took the northern kingdom a year and a half to get to the Americas. It says, therefore, so as Salaki. It says, and that same region is called Arshareth. So let's look up Arshareth, right? Because people will want to argue, it's like, well, you see, well, how did they get over here? Well, this is how the northern tribe get over here. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna start right here. What the shit going on? Let's go to Google. I don't really know how to spell it. There it is, right there. See, this is Arshareth in the Jewish Encyclopedia.com. It says the name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the inhabitants of men. See, because no man dwelt here before. No man was here. All right, now you had during the time of Solomon, you had, he was sending, those wayward men, the Phoenicians, right? The men, they would come over here, and get all exotic birds and gold and whatnot, because what this place used to be beautiful. So the so-called white man came in. It says, for far away from the inhabitants of men, which the 10 tribes of Israel would dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of restoration, according to, I'm not even going to try to say that, but it says, look, Columbus identified America with this land. All right. So this is how the Northern Kingdom got this is where the Northern Kingdom got over here, right? To the Americas, which is identified as Ashereth. Okay. So the Northern Kingdom got over here like that, right? So let's right, damn, I wish I had the map to show you. You see, I got this map of right here, but that doesn't show the Horn of Africa. So what they did was went down the Euphrates River around the Horn of Africa and came to the Americas, man. Okay, so let's just go back to Genesis 49. It says, and you can do your research on it. It says Reuben, back in 49:3, says, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, in the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. It says, my might, beginning of my strength. Now, why does it say the beginning of my strength, the excellency of my dignity, the excellency of my power? Because during the time of, and you can look this up, during the time of, let's see, whenever the so-called white man was over here enslaving blacks, you see, the so-called blacks, Reuben, so-called Seminole Indians, they didn't take part in that, right? They didn't take part in that because of the simple fact that the so-called white man came at them with their treaties, but Seminole Indians were refused to enslave blacks. All right. They denied the so-called white man's treaties. They denied everything that they was trying to give them. All right. But eventually what happened? They were tricked and forced into the so-called white man's treaties, man. Okay. So that's why I say it's the beginning of my strength, because Reuben wasn't having that, man. Okay. And it says what? Unstable as water. The reason why it says unstable as water is because Reuben was moving around a lot. Okay. Reuben was traveling. All right. And Reuben what dwelled in a lot of them dwelled down in the Florida Everglades. You see what I'm saying? See, when Andrew Jackson came over here doing all what he was doing, man, doing around the 1800s. See, when you go to Deuteronomy, come on, man, Deuteronomy 33, and damn, I always do that. 33 and 6, it says, let Reuben live and not die, and let not his men be few, because Andrew Jackson, once Reuben was tricked and forced, it was an all-out slaughter on Reuben, right? Reuben was getting handled, man. Okay? It says, let Reuben live and not die, because they was getting slaughtered, man. Okay, but Reuben had to be preserved for the sake of prophecy, man. Okay, for the sake of what? The 12, because Reuben was part of the 12 tribes of Israel, man. Okay, so it says, let Reuben live and not die. All right. Damn, it's salt water. Right. So it says, let Reuben live and not die. Let not his men be few, man, because Reuben had to be preserved. But Andrew Jackson was slaughtering their ass, man. Okay. But it was all according to prophecy, because what? This is what's gonna befall us. Okay, will befall the tribe of Reuben. All right. So let's go back in Genesis 49. Damn it. All right, Genesis 49. It says, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up in thy father's bed, man. Then defile it, then defilest thou it, he went up to my couch. All right. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, like I said, Reuben, denied the so-called white man's treaties, and what happened? Right? Reuben was slaughtered. Okay. Well, after so long, Reuben was tricked and forced into these treaties. Okay, so what I am gonna do, I'm gonna read you from this book, Lost Tribes and Promised Land. All right, this is page 363. I'm gonna read at the top and I'm gonna jump down just so you can understand. It says, in September of 1644, a Portuguese Moreno. Now hold up. In 1644, this is when the so-called white man came into power during the Renaissance period, right? This is when because what, beginning of what, the late 1400s, because you had Jake ruling, right? Jake had 1,000 years, was ruling for 1,000 years during the Byzantine Empire, right? Going back to what, Septimius Severus, and you had the Council of Nicaea, you see. But it says 1644. So what? You had the Renaissance period, which means the rebirth. So it says a Portuguese Moreno, right? Because Jake was what? Taken down, man. Right? Jake was taken down because you had the Renaissance period. But it says the Portuguese Moreno. And then when, like, I had the map right here, it said right here in Portugal, in Spain, you had Jake all through there, right? You had the Moors all through that, because look what it says. It says a Portuguese Moreno. Now the word Moreno, I got it right here queued up, goes back to the word what? This is the etymology online. It goes back to the word Moor, right? And we know that the word Moor means black, all right? Because you had Jake that was calling themselves Moors, and they was practicing the Islamic religion, right? It was a whole bunch. The Moors was just Jake running around. Well, it was Jake running around here calling themselves Moors, man. That's who that was, bro. But you had a Portuguese Moreno during this time. So what you had a what? A devil, right? A devil claiming to what? To be a Moor. Okay? Now I'm gonna read something to you. I was just letting you know who we talking about right here, a Portuguese Moreno, right? So this was a devil, all right, calling himself a Moor, right? Check this out. It says, upon his return to well, upon his return to Cartagena, the Judaizing Montezano have found himself accused. So the same guy, this Portuguese Moreno, he found himself accused by the Inquisition and put in prison. Praying for salvation upon praying for salvation in his cell one day, he was reciting what was by then a standard formula. So he was reciting what then was a standard formula among the New World Morenos. So among the New World Moors, so-called Moors, which was what? He was the devil. You see? So check it out. Blessed be the name of the Lord who had not made me an idolater, a barbarian, a Negro, and an Indian. So he was saying, blessed that I'm not that, right? When suddenly he stopped. Those Indians, he told himself, they are Hebrews. You see? So the so-called Native American Indians, the so-called Seminole Indians, all right, they are what? He said they are Hebrews. Pondering this thought incredulous, incredulity, and yet with growing conviction, he resolved that if he ever was released, he would seek out the Indian Francisco, and try to learn the truth. You see, so this 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 so-called Moor, right? This devil, he identified the so-called Indians as what? Hebrews. You see what I'm saying? So and this is the book right here. Okay. So let's go back into it. All right, let's so check it out. Like I said, Seminole Indians, right? Water Mitri, ordained by the Lord in Exodus 28. Let's go. The Mitri. See, this is how you know that we're those people, man. This is how you know. This is how through faith we believe that the Seminole Indians is the tribe of Reuben. Okay, I'm trying to find the one that I seen with the fringes. It was a good one. So yeah, women covering themselves. Okay, it's looking bugged out right here with that oh damn nose ring, what you want to call it. I think right here, my man got the fringes on right here, man. And I mean, if I'm not tripping, man, like the border of blue right there, man. You see? So through faith, man, we believe that the tribe of Reuben are known as the Seminole Indians today, man. So all you guys is like, man, this man, you telling me a man had a dream? Yeah, man. We believe that through faith. Okay. It was the same gospel was preached to you, but it's not mixed with faith, man. Okay. We don't have to convince you, right? It's just not on you, man. The Lord not dealing with you like that. So I'm gonna go back and read it. It says, this is Genesis 49:3. Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength. the excellency of dignity and the excellency of power. Because Reuben wasn't having that. Reuben was not enslaving Jakes, man. You know, they refused to. Okay, so Reuben stood 10 toes down, man. Unstable as water, because they traveled a lot. Thou shalt not excel, because thou wentest up in thy father's bed, and defiled it. He went up on thy couch. And it says, when you read Deuteronomy 33, it says, let's just go back, just touch on it before, because I'm just touching on Reuben, like I said. Deuteronomy 33 and 6, let Reuben live and not die, and let not his men be few, because Andrew Jackson was slaughtering their ass up, man. Because when the cavalry came down, hey, they was letting Reuben have it, man. Okay, you see. So yeah, man, that's basically all I had on that, man. Lord willing, this is edifying. I'll say shalom.